in Bighorn.
At Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect with
the SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
the 1-0. In the air, right center field. Cross on the move. Will get there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a mismatch. Deep three. Come on now. And don't connect. Robbie Draghi this time. Indeed. New hand there. Down the middle. Got it. The fly is high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top, this is college football at its absolute best.
Man, this is college athletics at its absolute best. Welcome in to another episode of the Fanatics Show. I am Michael with my co-host Skylar. Skylar, man, how we doing today on this ordinary Sunday? I don't think there's anything going on today that needs to be mentioned. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't even know why you brought that up. Is there something I'm supposed to know about? Or
I mean, nothing that I really care about.
the only thing that like super bummer, like I've been doing great this week as a Tennessee fan, but the Lady Vols had to kind of squander a shit. This, they lost to LSU again. That's okay. We'll talk all about it. But overall, what a really good week for the basketball teams here at Tennessee. And now, I mean, I'm doing great, Michael. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing pretty good today. Kind of been a up and down week. Some things personally, but then the Vols look good this week. So
oh yeah,
I mean, nothing that really needs to be stated otherwise, though.
That's right. Hey, real quick, just because I don't want anybody wondering, I do think that the live stream is bugging with Facebook right now. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I could not find it, and it looks like there's nobody watching on Facebook at the moment. I think something bugged out, but we are still live on YouTube, Twitter. We will have the recording posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts later. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and Michael, I guess I'm going to go ahead and let the folks know who our preview sponsor is, and then we'll get started with the show today. How about that?
Yes, sounds like a plan, man.
All right, man. It's Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company. So he started his own agency where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance right here in Oak Ridge today. Give him a call at 865-272-3387. Again, guys, Chris is not just going to find you the cheapest rate, but also the best value, the best coverage. And if you do need to file that claim, he'll be there at your doorstep to help you through every step of the process. Thank you, Chris, for your continued support of the channel. Michael, give us a rundown. What are we doing today?
Yeah, so I was just checking. It looks like there was an error whenever I tried doing Facebook. Not sure what happened with that, but we will get that worked out before next week, and we'll share this on Facebook once we're finished. But today we're going to start with the Lady Vols hoops, as it was a massive game earlier this week to talk about. But like I said, we'll talk about Lady Vols first, and we'll move over to the Vols before we cap it off with 3 more SEC teams and how we did on our projections for them. But before we get into all that, I would like to give you our segment 1 sponsor, which is Optimal Asbestos Services. Optimal Asbestos Services offers detailed asbestos inspections and air quality assessments. Whether you're looking to secure your home or workplace, you can trust Optimal Asbestos Services to deliver thorough and reliable solutions. You can contact Jeff Mull at 865-223-3297 for your consultation today, or on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. And I do want to give a shout out to Jeff, who sent us an email earlier this week. He wanted to update his ad read, and that's why it's different from what you're used to hearing. But a shout out to Jeff for that, and any of our other sponsors. If you want an updated ad read, just reach out to us via email, and we can do that for you. But Skylar, let's get right into this just massive program-defining win in year 1 of Kim Caldwell. And that is a victory over UConn. And I don't know why my graphic bugged out there, but you can't see the stats in the bottom right corner. So we're having all sorts of issues today on
Hey,
my end.
it's all good, man. It's on our end, but no, Tennessee. This game right here was to be there, man. That place was loud, dude. There was probably every bit of actually, it probably tells me, but there was probably every bit of like 13 to 14, maybe even 15,000 fans there in attendance for this game. But I have to give a massive shout out to UConn fans. Holy moly, bro. Y'all took over TVA. Like there was a bunch of them. And I give credit where credit's due. I was genuinely surprised at how many UConn fans were in attendance in this game, but it didn't matter at the end of the day. Lady Vols did pretty much what they've done all year long, but this time they finished the game strong. And that's where I think makes all the difference in the world. It was so fun to be there. We hit threes. We got and ones. We didn't really turn the ball over too much. Overall, it's just a very exciting brand of basketball. And what a really good game to be at.
Yeah, man. And you were at this game, correct?
I was, dude. It was so fun. Yeah,
That it was an awesome game, a back and forth game.
it was.
I mean, UConn had a 2-point lead at the end of the first period. Both teams scored 20 apiece in the second, so UConn took a 2-point lead into halftime. Tennessee third quarter has been the defining quarter so far this season. And that third quarter is where Tennessee took the lead and kept it for the rest of the game as they outscored UConn 22-15 in that third quarter. And the fourth, UConn did outscore Tennessee 22-21, but by that point, Tennessee had taken the lead and ends up with the 80-76 victory. And you see there, Z Spearman, she has really come on as of late, man. She is, I feel like she is finally figuring out what her role is. And we talked back earlier about maybe she needs to quit shooting the 3-point shot as much, and she's not shooting as many, but she's picking and choosing wisely. I mean, she only went 1 for 3 from the 3 in this game, but that 3-pointer that she hit was a big moment in the game. Finishes with 16 points, 7 rebounds, and a block shot, 3 of 4 from the foul line, and she's efficient with her shots. 6 of 9 from the floor in this game, most of those being close to the basket. Just a big pickup from for Kim Caldwell out of the portal this past offseason for Miami.
Yeah, man. I think in this game, you see Sam Spencer, Z Spearman, Jewel Spear, Ruby Whitehorn, not so much. But in a game where you had Talasia Cooper not have her best game, you've seen everybody for the most part step up. I mean, 4 of your starting 5 ended up in double digits scoring. That's what we need, especially when you're rotating the way Kim Caldwell does, 5 at a time pretty much. I mean, we've got to be seeing multiple, and I mean more than 3 folks in double digits almost every game, because you're not going to be able to rely on 1 or 2 to really take over the game when clearly they're going to get subbed in and out every 2 minutes. So this was a great game where you've seen folks step up to the plate, and it was a massive game. Z Spearman, though, got to be that player. She's one of the biggest girls on the court at all times, and we just got to I'm not going to compare her to Adu, but I feel like when she plays a little bit more physical, she can be really dominant down there in the middle.
Oh, yeah, and she's really playing physical, but not only is she tall and is she physical, she's athletic. She's one of the most athletic people on the court each time she steps foot, and she's really showing that as of late. And, the big stat in this game that jumps out to me that helped Tennessee get the victory, 46 rebounds compared to UConn's 34.
Out-rebounded them.
And, undersized for sure. Tennessee was against UConn, but they were more physical, I felt like, than UConn was throughout the game. And that's what it takes to out-rebound somebody is physicality. Tennessee did that in this game. They did turn the ball over 7 more times than UConn, but they really were able to fend off UConn for the most part throughout this game. And, ended up with 42 points apiece in the paint. Another area of concern that is just ongoing, and we'll talk about it more in the next game as well. Those free throw numbers, they almost came back to bite you.
It's on both teams in Knoxville having problems at the stripe. I don't understand that. But yeah, I mean that's quite a bit of a concern. I think one thing that Tennessee did very well though is they defended better than I expected against some of UConn's star players. Kind of held them in check. I mean, they got their points, no doubt about it. But overall, I felt like they really held their own. and kept some of their star players from really being able to take over the game. In fact, you've seen some of UConn's bench players actually have really good games just because that's what they had to do, really. They weren't in the position where they could take a night off because their stars getting 25, 30 points a game. We kept pretty much everybody in check other than Sarah Strong had a pretty good game with 18 points, but also Paige, is it Bookers?
Paige Beckers.
Beckers, thank you. I can't read in it. The U throws me off in that. Yeah, Beckers. Okay. But yeah, they really held those two ladies in check for the most part, considering what they've been doing for the entire season.
Yeah, absolutely. But kind of going away from the game here, just want to talk about how much this win means not only to Kim Caldwell, but to the Tennessee program in general. I mean, for you and I that's growing up, we had Pat Summitt, and Tennessee they were the program for women's college basketball. I mean, by the time we were probably 8, 9 years old, maybe even 7, something like that, Pat Summitt had just won her 8th national title, which was unheard of at the time. And then the other team that was really up and coming was UConn under Gino Ariyama. So, and these two had many battles. I mean, I heard on the radio earlier this week that they met numerous times, and 4 times alone were in the national title game. Now, unfortunately, Ariyama got the best of Tennessee in all 4 of those. But, I mean, the Lady Vols and UConn have been doing this for years. Pat Summitt and Ariyama, they actually genuinely hated each other. Now, they've respected each other, but they hated each other. And the last time that Tennessee knocked off UConn was in 2007. So it's been a long time coming. So not only was this a big win for Kim Caldwell, this was huge for Tennessee in general for this Lady Vols basketball program.
Well, and I'm going to take it a little bit outside the rivalry because the rivalry does mean a lot. But this means a lot for the team itself. I mean, think of the gauntlet that they've been playing. Almost every loss they've had has been a top 10 team other than Vanderbilt. And then it was kind of one of those, prove that you're supposed to be here moment. And they did it. They beat a top 5 team finally under Kim Caldwell. I think it's one of those things where it's a resume builder, kind of proves that you're supposed to be there and that you can hang with anybody in the country, which we already knew that, but you got to go prove it. You got to go finish. And they were able to do that. I think this is what's going to help the Lady Vols and possibly a 4 seed in the tournament, which is kind of huge considering they're probably going to finish like 9th in the SEC. So it's just crazy how it works out like that. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but man, there's not that much in the season left for the Lady Vols, is there?
No, there's not a whole lot. Let me pull up the schedule real quick. As after today, you have got 6 games left in conference play.
So. 6 games left. Yep. But this was just a big win for everybody. I think Kim Caldwell got her moment, in the post game when she said, "I just want to go home and celebrate with my baby boy." It kind of reminded me like a Bobby. No, not Bobby Boucher. It reminded me of the game plan. Remember the father after the game, and he's like, "I just want to go home to see my daughter." Like that. That's what that moment reminded me of. It was pretty cool. But to see TBA at the Food City Center or Food City Center at TBA, however you want to say it, but to see that place rocking the way it was when that final buzzer went off and we won, nobody moved. I mean, you would expect to see a wave of people just leaving, and that's not at all what it was. Everybody stayed there, enjoyed the moment, enjoyed the big win and the first one under Kim Caldwell.
Yeah, awesome. And you got any other thoughts on this game?
No, man, it was just great to see everybody play together. I mean, nobody really took over the game, but nobody really, took the night off either. We played as a team, played under control, and you see what happens when we do that. I mean, I could kind of nitpick the defense here and there on a couple of possessions, but overall, man, this was a great game for the ladies.
Yeah, awesome game. Now we'll move ahead to another awesome game that unfortunately did not fall the Vols' way, as it was this LSU game that finished about 20 minutes ago. LSU takes down Tennessee 82-77 in Baton Rouge. You saw in this game a team that played exactly how they needed to win the ball game, but unfortunately just little runs here and there for LSU eventually won out in the end. But the big thing that stands out for me in this game is it was basically 4 players doing it all. You had 4 starters all score 15 or more points, and then
Everybody
Samara Spencer with a 0 spot.
Was
Alyssa
she
Latham,
hurt?
0. I don't know if she was hurt or not,
She only took one freaking shot the entire game.
but she still played 27 minutes of this game.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I don't understand that. Like, this offense is random. It's almost impossible to do what she did tonight. I don't know. I felt like maybe something was up with her. Something was wrong. I didn't know.
Yeah, but Samara Spencer with a 0 spot. Alyssa Latham, same thing. Sarah Puckett with a 0 spot. Tess Darby with a 3, and that was a clutch 3. I give her that, but only 3 for Tess Darby. Jillian Hollingshed with 2 and Kanaya Boyd with 1. And I will say this about Jillian Hollingshed. She had a rough night. I mean, she came into the ball game, immediately picked up 2 fouls, and I think those 2 fouls were kind of little touchy fouls, if you ask me.
Dude, I will go on a rant on this. All right, the refs were freaking god-awful. And I'm not even saying that because we lost. I'm saying, like, the inconsistencies of the fouls that they were calling was just absurd.
Oh,
like,
and it was both sides, and not just the fouls,
yeah.
man. The amount of times that they would call a travel on something that was not a travel, but then they wouldn't call a travel on something that clearly was. I mean,
agreed.
I completely agree with you.
We got away with a couple travels. I'm like, I'm surprised. And then, like, there were some that, like, clearly, like you said, was like a 2-step deal, or they just stopped a plant and they twisted. And because they twist on a pivot foot like you're supposed to, I don't know, man. But that's not even like that. Those are whatever. I'm talking like, dude, there was plays where I watched a girl get just absolutely chopped on the head going up for a basket, and there'd be like no foul called. But then on a simple freaking screen where we set the pick, and it was clean as hell, clean as crap. And like, boom, offensive. Dude, it was so pathetic. Like, I don't understand. Like, as a guy who doesn't watch basketball, or didn't up until like the last 3 or so years, and I'm trying to genuinely learn the game and whatnot to be just as fluent as you are, like football almost. How in the world, when it's that inconsistent, do you even coach around that? Like, I just, it was so bad. But overall, I mean, you're right. 4 ladies pretty much for the entire team playing the game, and which I mentioned, you can't really play like that and expect it. Now, they were in the game, give them credit. But when you're substituting 5 at a time, in and out, like Kim Caldwell does, like, you're going to have a couple more ladies step up to the plate, and that just didn't happen tonight. And Kanaya Boyd didn't have a great night. Sam Spencer didn't have a great night. C. Spearman had a great night. And Talasha Cooper had a good one in the second half, but, man, took her a while to get going. And honestly, I think if she would have had a complete ball game, you would have seen the same Tay that we've always seen all year. And I think maybe the outcome's a little different. But overall,
you know what? You also had on the flip side Jewel Spear with a fantastic first half and kind of disappeared in that second half. So
she sure did. But now, Jewel Spear allowed the officiating, in my opinion, she allowed that to kind of get into her head a little bit. She was complaining almost every whistle, every call, or every non-call when she got slapped in the, whatever. Like, but to her credit, she was right on one of them, man. She got hooked really bad, and then she got called for the foul. And I'm like, dude, this is insane. But like, overall, man, like I said, LSU played a really good game. I think the difference in this game, in my opinion, was the possessions. Tennessee usually is the team that has the most possessions in a game. And in this game, you got outpossessed by 12. Even though LSU had a worse night shooting the ball, they gave themselves that many more opportunities. And overall, LSU used home court to their advantage and got the win. It was still another close game. Just gotta finish, man. But man, this schedule that they're playing is rough. I mean, you look at Lady Vols, and what are they, 16-6 now or something like that, 17-6. Yeah. And that to somebody that's not watched them, they're like, man, they're kind of mid this year, not that great. But then you look at like who they've lost to, and it's like a completely different story.
Look, this team this year has lost 6 games by a combined total of 20 points. Yeah, that's insane. They showed a stat on ESPN during this game that is the least amount of points by a team with at least 5 losses in the country. It's just insane what this Lady Vols team is doing. But like you said, you look at the record and it's like, well, they're good, but how good are they? But I do have a question for you. This was a loss today, but looking at the entirety of the game, did you feel like this was probably the most complete game that Tennessee played all season, or would you maybe lean that more towards the UConn game?
I'm going to lean that one to the UConn game only because that fourth quarter we went on the drought right when we didn't need to go on the drought. We went on the drought.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, I think it was like 3 minutes left to go in the game. And it was like LSU just kind of went on like an 8-0 run or something like that. And they even mentioned that it was like 3 minutes since we'd even gotten a bucket. And like that, we can't have, especially that late in the ball game. You'd been playing pretty consistent up until then. Because I was waiting for it. I'm like, where's the bad quarter? It's got to be this one. It's got to be the. And it really wasn't a bad quarter per se when you look at it. It was just the fact that kind of went dry right when you didn't need to. And LSU took advantage of it.
Yeah, and I'm also going to ask you this question for the men as well, because I put it in the title.
Sure.
Do you think the Lady Vols have found their identity? Yeah, we've seen a team.
They have. I mean,
we've seen a team this year that has shot upwards of 35 to 43 pointers per game and taken like 75 shots in a game. The last couple of games we've seen, low 60s in the shot totals. We've seen 25 threes or less, and it seems like they're a little bit better shooting percentage wise too. Do you think that inside out type game is what we need to start seeing going forward for this team to have success?
Yes, and I think, and I'm gonna call out one lady in particular, but I think Ruby Whitehorn is one of the best finishers in the game, and she needs to start attacking the basket way more often. When she does, she either makes the layup or she gets fouled, and it could be an and one at that point. She's one of the best when she splits. It almost looks a lot like Zakai Ziegler, the way she splits a defender and then is able to kind of recoup, regather, and throw it up there at the rim. And she's really good at finishing strong. I wish we could see a little bit more of that out of her. But if it's not there, like you mentioned, she attracts so much attention to the inside. She can kick it out, and who knows, inside out ball game, maybe sink a 3 or 2.
Yeah, completely agree with you. But ultimately, the same thing that we've been dealing with all year long. HYFT, hit your free throws. 13 of 20 from the line is not going to do it.
That's abysmal.
Especially when the last two opponents that you have faced have shot 92.9% and 90.9% respectively from the free throw line. You're not going to get it done when you're shooting.
How are you so bad at free throws in the college game? And this is a genuine question. Even NBA, bro. Like, how are you? I just feel like that's a shot you've been hitting since you're a 5-year-old, 4-year-old kid. Like, how are we so bad at that?
And is it because you get up and down the floor so quick that even though you're only playing, you're just 25, wore out by the time 27 minutes a game, maybe your legs are a little bit wore out. I don't know, but
I don't know, man. That's abysmal, bro. And it's game in and game out that is that bad. So gonna have to figure out something and get it corrected. But I agree with you. The free throws, and that goes for men and women. So
yeah, but especially for the women, they have got the talent that they can make it to the Final Four. And I know that is a stretch, I believe, maybe saying that, but what's going to keep them from making it that far, that might get them bounced in the second round, is the free throws.
I agree, 100%. You got anything else you want to wrap up? Kim Mulkey goes 2-0 against Tennessee this year.
No, I think that this is a successful week for the Lady Vols because we said
100%. We said they won't drop. In fact, they'll probably rise in the rankings. So
yeah, I mean, we said that you would love to split this series or these two games. More likely you go 0-2, but hey, they split it. That's a win in my book. I think you've got to go at least 5-1 through the rest of the season, though.
And here's my God honest opinion: they won the game that is more important to win. Between the rivalry,
agree with you.
The higher seed, you're out of the SEC champion. Like, you're not winning the SEC. Between LSU and South Carolina and Texas, they just beat South Carolina. Like, the winning the SEC wasn't even. And so I felt like, in my opinion, they split the series, which is best case scenario, and you beat the team that you honestly probably didn't think you were going to beat. So I'm completely okay with this week. I'm not going to be negative at all. Tennessee, the Lady Vols just played top 10 teams left and right. It's just crazy, man. I applaud them for how they've been playing them, though. This is insane. They've lost, like you said, 6 games by a combined 20 points, and 5 of those 6 games were top 10 opponents. What are you going to do? It is what it is.
Exactly. But that's all I've got. You want to give us our segment 2 sponsor?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's going to be P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Reach out to P&L Business Services, again, right here in Oak Ridge. You can just simply go online at pnlbusinessservices.com. Thank you so much for your continued support of segment 2. And segment 2, we're going to be talking about the men's. Man, what a week they had. Starting out, we're going to be talking about the Missouri game where Missouri, man, I was a little nervous about Missouri. Missouri was kind of the game that, in the offseason, I didn't really think about too much. But Missouri's got some shooters, and they shot. And they hit. And Tennessee somehow miraculously, especially in that second half, was just insane. But they shot the ball too. And what was it, a 56-point second half?
57 point.
57-point second half. That's the most electric I've ever seen a Rick Barnes offense in my life. And it turned out we needed almost every bit of those points. So credit to Missouri and the way they played. But man, this game was amazing. What are your first thoughts?
Man, my first thoughts is kind of what I was talking about with the Lady Vols. Tennessee has found its identity. After that win against Florida, in which you were shorthanded, only had 7 scholarship players, you could see that Igor Milicic and Zakai Ziegler, they were ready to come back, man. And man, both of them 21 points apiece in this game. Igor with a double-double in the game. Zakai Ziegler almost with a double-double. But they did it by working inside out, just like we talked about last week. You see 54 total shots for the game, only 15 threes, in which every single one of those threes that were taken were really good, clean looks. They picked and chose the shots that they needed to take, and they hit them. 10 of 15, 66.7% from the field or from the three-point line, and you shot 50% from the field for the entire game. Just really efficient with their makes. You had 5 guys in double figures in this game.
I love seeing that. That was going to be my key.
Yep. Yeah, 5 guys in double figures. Like I say, Igor and Zakai, 21 apiece. You had Felix Akpara with 12, Lanier and Gainey with 10 apiece. And then, Meshack chipping in 7, Cade Phillips with 4. Just really efficient all the way around. And this is the Tennessee team that we've been waiting to see all season long.
Well, we said it in all season back before we even got Chaz and Lanier, but we were kind of like, hey, we're not going to have a DK that's going to be dropping 30 points a game. But what we were hoping for this year, and the reason why we thought we could be better this year, is because we knew we were going to have 3 or 4, 15-point-a-game shooters. That's what we need, right?
Yep.
Everybody chipping in, not making one person do it all. And honestly, it should hopefully free up that defense a little bit to where it leads to more opportunities. And this game was kind of like the perfect definition of that. I mean, Igor and Zakai, you mentioned it, 21 points apiece. But your shooter, Chaz Lanier, only got 10. But Jordan Gainey, I think he's so important in this team. The way he plays off the bench, he was able to chip in another 10 points. I think that's one of the keys to this team. As much as I want to say Zakai and as much as I want to say, honestly, I don't even think Chaz Lanier is that much of a key. I think when he's on, it's so much of a bonus. That's what I'll say. But I don't know if he's really the key in turning this offense to getting wins. I think Jordan Gainey and the way he plays when he subs in, because, man, when he does, it's so important to get some key minutes out of him just for the team. Everything seems to work when Jordan Gainey is working as well off the bench. And this game, you've seen it. Zakai, though, and Igor is getting a bunch of crap on the EA show because he kept shooting threes. Eric Ainge doesn't like it. But, man, has he not proven himself at this point? I feel like that man's shooting lights out lately, dude.
Look, Igor and Zakai from the three-point line went a combined 6 of 7. For the game, the two of them went a combined 13 of 19 from the field. And that's not even including free throws where they went a combined 10 of 11 from the free throw line. They were just on fire in this game from the field.
No, this was a very fun second half to watch. No, man, I think Missouri is a really good team. I think that this doesn't need to get thrown under the rug whatsoever. They came in, or I guess we went into their building. I think we actually protected. Who was number? Is it 31? Who is that?
It's Caleb Grill.
Yes.
Guy has been. I mean, he's number 2 in the nation in field goal percentage, hitting
Off the-
49%
off the bench, which I don't even understand that whatsoever, especially when you got 3 starters that all got 4 points or less, but whatever. Grill came off the bench and he hit 1 or 2, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But overall held him to 11 points. I think that was one of the big keys to this game. I think another thing that like kind of gets overlooked, but man, Missouri had 8 people off the bench, dude.
Yeah.
That's literally more than we play in total. I mean, they were literally swapping out. I mean, one guy only had 1 minute, another guy only had 2 minutes, so maybe that's a little skewed. But for the most part, they had 6 meaningful guys coming off the bench, and I thought that was going to challenge Tennessee a little bit physically, but proved to not be too big of a deal. I was very proud of the effort. Not going to say defensive effort, but honestly, I kind of am. It's just Missouri was hitting. I mean, they took 33s and made 12 of them. I think at that point you just chalk it up and play offense. So
yeah, that's the thing is Missouri is a team that so far this year they live by the 3, they die by the 3, like Tennessee has been in years past. And in this game, yes, they hit 12, but like you said, they took 30, so they kind of died by the 3 in this game. But also for both teams, I say it every week. I'm gonna say it again. HYFT. Missouri missed 10 from the free throw line. Tennessee missed 9. I mean, in this game, 70% from the foul line was enough to get you the win, but that's not gonna be the case once you get into the SEC tournament. Once you get into the NCAA tournament, you got to hit your free throws.
I think another big key to this, I mean, Tennessee shot lights out from 3. I mean, 10 of 15, but also we out-rebounded them by 8, 38-30, and then assists. Look at the assist numbers right there at the bottom.
Yes, man.
Bottom right. I mean, 21 assists on 27 made buckets. That's insane, and that's teamwork. I mean, Missouri was having to make a lot of their own shots and creating their own shots, where Tennessee was able to feed the ball to somebody open, and I think that is ultimately the difference in the game.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. But Tennessee, this was a home game for Tennessee, actually.
My fault. I thought. I think I knew that, but
yeah, I always put Tennessee first on our graphics here. But yeah, just looking at ESPN, it is a home game. You beat a Missouri team that I won't say that they're Final Four good, like Jimmy Dykes was saying on the broadcast. But I think this is a Missouri team that could absolutely make a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 run. And you not
they'll be
a good team.
They'll be the what do you call it? Princess Cinderella story?
Oh yeah, the Cinderella team this year.
They'll be the Cinderella team this year for sure.
Out of the SEC.
They'll find themselves in the Sweet 16, and people will be like, "Where did this team come from?" And I, in my opinion, I don't know. They are ranked, so probably not. But I don't know. I could see them making a run, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. But you got any more thoughts on this game before we move forward to yesterday's trouncing?
No, but I'm just glad. I mean, I mentioned you got to go 2-0 this week, and Missouri could have absolutely threatened that, but they didn't. I mean, they did, but Tennessee held their own. They were ready for it, and then no, I'm just super proud we were able to carry that fight to Oklahoma. And I did not know this, but they were in dark mode at Oklahoma.
They sure did. I didn't know it until tip-off when I saw the dark, and I was like, wait, did I click on the wrong game?
I didn't even have to watch the game at that point. I knew my bet was going to hit. I took them to cover the 5.5, and when I seen dark mode, I'm like, oh, yeah, we're feeling good. We're feeling good.
Yeah, we sure are, and we were from the opening tip as Tennessee 70-52. This game was never in doubt.
Never.
Chaz Lanier with a fantastic game.
They started. What did he start? 4 for 4 or 3 for 3? I know Tennessee's a team shooting at 3. Now, obviously, we cooled off in the second half, but dude, as a team, I think we hit 5 of our first 6 threes or something insane like that.
At one point, Tennessee made, I believe it was 9 straight baskets.
It was that. I mean, literally feeding right off. I mean, I think it was a 45-point first half, which we kind of cooled off. Following the 57-point second half and following that up with a 45-point first half. I mean, dude, you can do that more consistently. This team is national championship caliber. I mean, and I think we knew that, But holy moly, has our offense been really bad for several weeks. But I mean, are we getting hot at the right time here, Michael?
I think we are. And ignore the little hiccup I had on Chaz's stats. That's supposed to be 5 rebounds, not 55 rebounds. I mean,
Got a boy.
He out
breaking records
Oklahoma by himself. So, but no, this team is absolutely getting hot at the right time. And like I said, I think they found their identity. This game, once again, you saw them work inside out. You know, that 21 total threes, that's kind of skewed because they took some threes in the second half that they probably shouldn't have. But by that point, the game was pretty well out of hand. I mean, I don't even know what their shooting percentage was at the end of the first half, but it had to be up around 70%, maybe even 80%. They just could not miss in that first half. But this is a team that very much has found their identity. They just killed Oklahoma on the glass, 35-21 there. And let me look what those defensive and offensive numbers were. So defensive rebounds, Tennessee out rebounded Oklahoma 30-15, 2-1 on the defensive glass. That's insane there. Once again, the assist numbers, 18 assists on 29 made baskets. I mean, it was just a all-around beatdown that Tennessee had on Oklahoma.
That's what I was kind of concerned. I'm like, dude, we only had 5 offensive rebounds, but then you look down and you realize you shot from 60% of the field. There was no rebounds to get. So that's good. No, I think quick stat for you. Zakai Ziegler in the last 2 games, 7 of 8 from 3.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But you know what I think?
Come on, Ziegler.
You know what I think 2 keys for that are? I've mentioned one of them a couple of times. You're going inside out. You're getting the ball down to the paint and kicking it back out, but also he's not forcing anything. He's catching it and stepping into his shot the way he needs to. He's not coming off the dribble trying to force something.
Yeah. I love the fact, too, in this game, we seen Chaz Lanier actually take it to the paint. We actually seen him kind of go, why haven't we been seeing that all year? I didn't realize the dude had that in him. I mean, honestly, you realize the cheat code that man would be if you had to protect him from all 3 levels. I mean, we already know he's got the jumper mid-range, and then he's also got the 3-point shot. But, I mean, I seen him attack the basket in this game. And then even if it's not there, I mean, that's how Zakai Ziegler got one of his baskets. Chaz Lanier, I think, went up for a layup, missed it, but he got his own rebound and then kicked it out to Zakai and drained a 3. I mean, that's massive. And Zakai kind of looking around like, yo, that's supposed to be my job. I'm supposed to kick it out. Like, I mean, that unlocks the full potential of this offense. I love seeing that. Dubar came in, hit a 3 right off the bat. I mean, like that, dude, I'm telling you, it's so clutch to see. I mean, the bench didn't do too much, but when you get 4 from Cade Phillips, who's the most energetic player ever, he's going to get you a couple blocks every game, which, by the way, what a block party in this game. I need to mention that. Felix Okpara, what, 4 blocks?
4 blocks. Tennessee's team had 8.
Cade had another 2, and Cade had one on the 3-point line and then saved it and was able to get a turnover off of it. I mean, that was such a big play. Let's see. Somebody, Igor had a block. Jamal Makeshak had a block. 8 total blocks. I mean, that's the type of Rick Barnes defense that I'm talking about. And, you know, I'm gonna kind of give myself a little bit of credit here. I made a bet. You asked me like what my thoughts were on the game, and I was like, man, I just don't see them giving up. I said 50. They gave up 52. Wow. Like I had this game kind of read, and I'm just proud of Tennessee for making it happen. Because usually when I make a bet, I guarantee that it doesn't happen. But in this case, man, I nailed it right on the head. This was a big win, and you did what you're supposed to do against an inferior opponent in Oklahoma.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Oklahoma is giving some people problems in the conference, but you went in there and you handled your business the way that you needed to, and you came out of that Oklahoma game with a win. You got 2 big ones coming up this week, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, Tennessee, you've got to go 2-0 this week because
I've said it.
You have got 2 revenge games this week. You got Kentucky.
And Kentucky is not good. They've proven not to be that great. I think they just played really good against you. I mean, let me say that. Let me take that back.
I think Kentucky, Tennessee just played bad.
I feel like Kentucky's a shooting team. I think they're, but to me, honestly, I don't feel like Kentucky's any different with a different head coach. I feel like they play a lot of the exact same that they played even with Coach Cal there. But I think we played into their game, which helped them. I think, honestly, if you stick true to what you do offensively, you play defense the way you've always played them against there's no reason why you don't beat Kentucky by 10, in my opinion.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
I mean,
And
if
at Vanderbilt, you got to take it to a Vanderbilt. So
if you play the game the way you have, or the way you did against Missouri and the way you did against Oklahoma, working that inside out game, making sure that points in the paint are the priority over shooting threes, and you take the threes that are given to you, but make sure that they are good threes, then Kentucky, I agree with you. I think that could be a double-digit game. And Vanderbilt, you can blow them out of the water if you play that type of game right there. I'm going to say you have to go 2-0 this week.
that's right. Tennessee sitting currently tied for 5th with Ole Miss in the conference at 7-4. They are 20-4 overall. I think it was Florida gave Tennessee a little bit of a gift by beating Auburn. So now every team in the conference has at least one loss. Auburn, Alabama tied with 9-1. Florida at 7-3. Texas A&M at 7-3. Now I will say this: you play a lot of those teams. So you play Texas A&M after Vanderbilt. You play Alabama, third to last game of the season. So you've got a chance to really make a change in these standings here as we close out the season. But for Tennessee, it's one game at a time, and it's 1-0. And so that's what Tennessee's going to have to do coming up this week.
Yeah, you will need some help to be able to get up to one of those top spots. But I think it absolutely can happen because, just
Auburn
looking
plays
at,
a little bit of a gauntlet themselves.
I was going to say Auburn just this week, they traveled to Vanderbilt on Tuesday night, and going to Vanderbilt has been hard for any team. I mean, Kentucky went down, Tennessee went down, Texas went down. Basically, if you travel to Vanderbilt, you got to make sure that you're playing your number one game, or Vanderbilt's going to beat you this season. And then the big game comes up Saturday as Auburn travels to Alabama. Probably going to be number one Alabama at that point because Auburn and Duke both lost yesterday. So Alabama probably going to be the number one team in the nation on whenever they play Saturday. Tennessee probably going to be your number two team.
I don't think so. They're going to keep Auburn ahead of us. They still only have two losses,
yeah.
bro. Yeah, they still only have 2 losses, and they beat us head to head. So I don't see Auburn dropping far. Not this.
They won't drop far. But I mean, Tennessee did go 2-0, and Auburn lost one. I mean, you never know how the AP voters are going to do things, but either way, it's going to be a huge matchup for Auburn this week against Vanderbilt and against Alabama. But yeah, Alabama, they have got a tough stretch coming down through the rest of the regular season as well, playing Auburn twice, playing Tennessee. They do play Florida. The rest of Alabama's games are all against top 25 opponents except for Texas, who they play on Tuesday night.
Right on. That's what I like to hear. Chaos. We gotta continue to win though. Tennessee's proven that they're one of the best teams in the nation though, so I don't want to hear anybody saying that we played a weak pre-schedule or whatever because, man, we beat Florida in that revenge game by 20 points. Look, I think we'll be fine. I'm kind of pitching myself for the 1 seed here because I really want the 1 seed. But overall, I think Tennessee's kind of set themselves up in a situation where you win the games you're supposed to, kind of go 50-50 on the games you're not. And I don't think Tennessee's anything worse than a 2 seed. What do you think?
I completely agree with you. I think they're I'm going to say a 2 seed is what they're going to be. At worst, a 3 seed.
Our luck, they'll be a 2 seed and 5th overall.
But you know what? If they get a 2 seed and they win the Natty, I really don't care.
It doesn't matter at that point. Exactly right. Right on. All right, man. You want to wrap this thing up? Take us to the next segment.
Yeah. So our segment 3 sponsor, it is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at KaizenPainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So we've got.
I feel a little bit of a drop in viewership. Is there something going on this afternoon that we don't know about?
I really don't know. Like I said, it was a pretty ordinary Sunday, so I don't think there's anything going on.
It's like the first one without football too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, last week you had the Pro Bowls. So I don't know what goes on after that.
What
I mean,
a crap show was that, dude? Did you see that? I didn't even watch it.
I didn't.
I seen
Watch
some clips. I seen some clips on Facebook, but I don't know. Whatever. The coolest part was seeing Peyton Manning's little son go out there and show him how to do it. So,
Hey, future Tennessee Vol.
hey, oh yeah, it's a lock. Don't even worry. Don't even worry. It's a lock. All right, man. So the first team that we're about to be talking about that, Florida. I hate this because they actually did a lot better than we thought they were going to.
They sure did, but hey, both of us stayed the same on our
That's
numbers,
right.
so we're still
That's
tied
right.
after this week. But some different paths to the way that we thought Florida was going to go this year. As I thought they were going to start off the season 2-0, wins against Miami and Sanford, and boy, that Miami game looked ugly. And that game, we thought, okay, this season is going to go exactly how we thought, maybe even worse.
I think it was on track to do that. I think it very much was on track to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they started off the season 2-2, which is what I thought, just in different ways. I mean, I had wins against Miami and Sanford with losses to Texas A&M and Mississippi State. And then a win against UCF, lost to Tennessee, and got those correct, as well as a win against Kentucky. And then the loss to Georgia had them at 4-4 to end the second third of their season. And at the time, I said, boy, this is a gauntlet that I don't think Florida can overcome, because you had Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State at the end of the season, which at the beginning of the season, they were all like top 15 opponents, not just top 25, but top 15. You did lose to Texas, but then you rattle off wins against LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State. Now, Florida State was just god awful, which shout out to you for picking that one at the beginning of the season. You just didn't realize how bad Florida State was going to be.
Hey, it doesn't matter how. All right. When you get I mean, look, there is no pictures on a stat sheet. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Don't be. It's fine. It's whatever. Yeah, I think I also had them going 4-8. Man, what a different route that I had. I had them beating Miami because I guess I wasn't a believer, and Florida State for that matter. I wasn't a believer in the ACC. Now, I feel like I was right on that. Miami, and honestly, they shouldn't even been close because they got a really bad call, which helped them win a game after a Hail Mary. But Miami proved to not be that good of a team, or at least not a playoff caliber team. And then Florida State, my goodness, what a turnaround for that team.
Did Tennessee break Florida athletics or Florida State athletics
with the World Series, bro?
Yeah,
Nah.
did they just break? I mean, did they just
No.
draw the line?
I think
State?
I think Florida State cried so emphatically about missing the playoffs last year that's what broke them. I think that's what broke them. And then they almost felt this sense of entitlement for this year, and then they just didn't back it up. So overall, I had them beating Sanford, and Mississippi State, but I had them losing to everybody else. Man, I was just completely wrong. Billy Napier coached himself. He was able to turn that locker room around. DJ Lagway, I think, is who saved that program, in my opinion.
Agree. Yes.
And credit to him going 7-5. The way they finished the year was very strong. We both missed that one by a total of 3 games. That's rough. It's okay.
Yeah, and I think we both said, I forget where you said that we had Billy Napier being fired. I had him being fired
after Kentucky is what I said.
Okay, we both had the same then. Going into that Georgia game is where we both had him being fired.
Well, I had him after Kentucky because if I remember correctly, that was the bye week that they could prepare for Georgia. So yes.
Yeah, but credit to Billy Napier, extended his contract, and Florida's going to be a team to watch out for next year with DJ Lagway.
They sure will. They finished with a top 5, I think, recruiting class, top 10.
Yep.
So got to be ready for that. Oh well, yep. I hate talking positive for Florida. Man, I hate Florida.
I hear you. So
what's the next one?
Yep.
No, this is bad.
Next team, we should have gotten Skeeter on here for this one, but next team it is Missouri.
Oh, this one ain't bad.
Yeah,
I nailed this one. Almost nailed one. Almost nailed it. Missouri had the most like softball, like slow pitch, schedule that you could have in the SEC, and they still found a way to lose 3 games. That's tragic. That is tragic. What are your first thoughts on Missouri season?
I mean, this season was a failure ultimately. I mean,
I agree.
I said that if you don't go at the very least 10-2 with this schedule, it was going to be a failure, and it was. Now, granted, that game at Texas A&M this season, Texas A&M was better than we thought that they were going to be going into the season. Let's see, they ended up losing to A&M, Alabama, and was the other one was South Carolina, I believe.
Yeah, dude, they win. They win. If they go 10-2, man, they almost have every. Even though I don't feel like they should have, because they didn't really beat anybody good, because they didn't. They lost to every decent team on their schedule. But I mean, they would have had almost every chance in the world to go, to the playoff. But they lost to A&M. A&M proved to be a decent team.
And same thing with South Carolina.
Same thing with South Carolina. So I mean, I don't think maybe Missouri was as bad as kind of we harp on them. But then again, when you only had to show up for 3 games out of your entire season, when every other team had to show up for almost all of them, you got to show up, man. And I felt like Missouri kind of didn't do that. I mean, and in some of the games, I don't think they were competitive. Was it Alabama where they just got ran out? I can't remember.
They got boat raced. I think it was like 34-0, or
yeah,
maybe,
I can't do
maybe
that. And that was a home game, if I'm remembering correctly. So you just can't.
It was at Alabama.
Was it at Alabama? Okay,
Yeah.
My fault. My apologies.
Yeah, all 3 of their losses were on the road. So they did win all their home games. But kind of like you said, just looking at this schedule again, the only 3 games you really had to show up for and really try for, you did lose. You won all the games that you're supposed to, but then the 3 games that as the week came to it, you were probably underdogs. Yeah, you didn't win those games.
Yeah, I mean, didn't they play like Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Arkansas? Maybe even Arkansas.
So,
I don't know. They play like bottom of the barrel. Like,
yeah, so conference games this year, they started off against Vanderbilt and got a close win there. Vanderbilt honestly should have won that game. It was in overtime. Vanderbilt's kicker missed a field goal.
I remember that.
That would have sent it to the next overtime. So yeah, played Vanderbilt, played at Texas A&M, at home against Auburn, at Alabama.
Auburn's a bad team this year, so that was another one.
Oklahoma at home, South Carolina on the road, Mississippi State on the road, and Arkansas. So of the teams that they've played this year, they literally played all the teams except for Florida that we have talked about. They played Vanderbilt, Auburn, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Arkansas.
They didn't play Kentucky.
That's right. They didn't play.
But yeah, I mean, they played like I said, it was very bottom of the barrel ish. But it is what it is. I think they did lose a couple of recruits, but who knows? Maybe Drinks can reel that team back in for. I mean, they got the exact same schedule. It's just flipped on other than their non-con. It's just flipped on who's home and away. So let's see if they can improve this year.
They're going to be standing on business next year too.
Hey, I'm just saying they have the SEC scheduled to go 10-2. Will they? I don't know. We'll see.
Yep.
So let's see. You missed that one by 2, and I'm only missed that one by 1, which is great because I'm gonna miss this next one by a lot. So let's get it.
Yep. Next team that we are talking about, it is Ole Miss.
Thank you, Ole Miss, for making me look like actually both of us. Honestly, I thought you went 10-2 on this one. So Thank you, Ole Miss, for making us look like idiots. Man, this is just proof that Lane Kiffin, I think, that's his ceiling, bro. I think he'll make a playoff eventually, but I don't think he's a championship coach.
He's not, and he definitely won't be at Ole Miss.
And I'm tired of people. They will continue. They'll do head coach rankings, and in my opinion, Josh Heupel's already eclipsed him. In my opinion,
yes, absolutely.
But nobody will say that. Everybody will still put Lane Kiffin over Josh Heupel, and I don't understand it. This dude literally flips his team every year and says, this is it, this is the one. And then they go out and do the same thing, if not worse. I don't know. You had Jackson Dart for the 17th year. You lost Quinshon Judkins, but you loved who you had 2 folks that you had behind him. And your running game honestly wasn't that bad anyways. You had a great defense, and yet you still lose to LSU. You lose to Alabama. I don't know who else they lost to, but it was pathetic.
Let's see. They lost to, so they did not play Alabama. They lost to LSU, got trounced by South Carolina.
That's what it was. South Carolina.
And then lost to Florida.
They didn't play. Yeah, they didn't play Alabama, did they? I'm so
No.
used to the East-West situation.
But then you get that key win against Georgia, but it's overshadowed because you no-showed against South Carolina. LSU ended up beating you this year on the road, and then you lose to Florida. And
Them losing to Florida at the end of the year was wild stuff, dude.
it was. So it was another typical Lane Kiffin year, and I totally agree with you. I don't know why people keep ranking him above Josh Heupel in these head coaching rankings. And I tell you what, in the off season, whenever we've got some segments to fill, we will give our own head coaching rankings in the SEC that will reflect it the way that it should be with Josh Heupel over Lane Kiffin.
I'm just sitting here doing the math here.
After 3 weeks of doing this, we're still
so the first, and I didn't realize that this would end up being this way. Like I just kind of, and I've been letting it be a surprise to me, but we missed the first 3 by 7. We missed the second 3 by 6. Okay. And then we missed the last 3 by 7. I was just about to say, dude, and it's all been 7 games. Like I thought we missed them by 7 games on each, but no. Last week we only missed by 6. That's okay. We're still tied, and we're over halfway through with this. So this is fun. This is fun stuff.
It's fun looking back and seeing some of them that we were right on, and then some of them that we were just dead wrong on.
Well, I messed up by having 3 teams going 4-8. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, but now I didn't have anybody going 2-10. Thanks, Mississippi State.
You could have had 4 people go 6-6, which is what I did apparently.
It just sounds
without realizing it.
Hey, to be fair, I said I had 3 people going 4-8. I'm looking at here, and it looks like you had 2 going 3-9 and 1 going 4-8. So, you know what? It is what it is. We're tied going into next week. So, anything else you want to wrap up before we hop off here, man? Shorter show today. I like it.
I think I finally figured out what's going on tonight. Is it the Super Bowl tonight?
The what?
The Duper Bowl?
I mean, I've got some spaghetti in the refrigerator. What kind of bowl?
Oh,
I thought bowl games were like a month ago, bro.
Maybe so. I think college football is over with. Is pro football?
You know what? Come to think of it, my wife did mention something about a concert tonight. I think.
Oh, I get. Is it? Was it Kendrick Lamar?
But there's a game being played at the concert.
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty cool, actually. Might have to go check it out.
Yeah,
and the 34 people tune in with us. I appreciate you guys watching with us, man. No, I might have to jump out here, go get some dinner, and watch the second half of that thing, man. I was just picking this entire time. I just don't care about the NFL that much. So
yeah, I'm with you.
I'm all Vols, baby. I'm all Vols.
Yeah, looks like right now the Eagles are up 7-0. Who is your pick to win this game?
Eagles. And I took Saquon to score, and I took Patty Mahomes to get a rushing touchdown.
So you got Patty and Saquon scoring touchdowns. So.
Yes, and I think I even have Devontae Smith scoring one in a second bet. I bet $4 total dollars, $2 $2 bets. That's how big better I am. I go for high odds and low money. So
yeah, I'm with you. So I did not pick a team spread wise to win. I do think Kansas City will end up winning, just because I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But a couple of the bets that I took, Travis Kelce to get at least 60 yards receiving. It seems like every single Super Bowl he goes over on his receiving numbers, and I just think that he's going to go over once again. Saquon over 110 yards rushing, and we got Jalen Hurts over 200 yards passing.
Oh, okay. Jalen Hurts passing? That's not going to happen. No shot.
Hey, he's already at 79, and it's only the second quarter.
Oh, dang. So did he get a passing touchdown or something?
I believe so.
Well, that hurts. That's not
Saquon Barkley.
Maybe it's Devontae Smith, though.
I don't know who it was that got the touchdown. I'm looking on FanDuel.
It wasn't Saquon, and it wasn't Devontae Smith. Son of a gun.
Yeah. I also do have Saquon anytime touchdown scorer. And I've got to share this. I found a picture this week on Facebook. I might have sent it to you.
Yeah.
I can't remember for sure, but it says the U.S. national debt is now up to a staggering $37 trillion, and NFL memes reposted it and said
I seen this.
the Treasury Department just needs to put $70 trillion on Saquon anytime touchdown in the Super Bowl, and we'll be out of this mess.
You know what happened is they did that, and now Saquon's not going to get a touchdown. So that's
exactly right.
100%. So we're about to be double that in debt. So don't worry.
Yeah.
And then you're going to wonder why Vegas just like immediately threw up another Vegas like somewhere else in the state, and that's because they got that much $1 trillion. So
Yeah.
no,
Man,
I took my bet is Philadelphia Eagles. I took the over in the game. Just because I thought it would be like a 34-30 game. I didn't think that was that bad. And then I took Saquon anytime score. That's plus 326. And then I did a second bet where I'm like, screw it. I need some more anytime touchdown scores because if it's going to be that high scoring, I'm like, Devontae and then Patty Mahomes and just those two anytime touchdown scores was plus 1211. So we'll see. We'll see how it works out, man. But really, I'm just here for the halftime show. So.
Yep, I'm with you.
I want to see if we have any beef.
Yeah. The only other thing that I have is Austin Brown. It's at Austin_Vols on Twitter. He had the quote of the day after Tennessee beat UConn on Thursday night. Kim Caldwell is about to wake up the sleeping giant of the sport.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going to go with that. But yes, that's a great one. Last final shout out. Lady Vols softball began. They dropped the very first game of the season to Nebraska and have since gone on a 5-game tear where I think 4 of the 5 games, but 4 in a row were all run rules.
Yeah, so, and there was a no-hitter in one of those.
And it was a freshman.
Yeah, freshman. Her first appearance in a Vol uniform. I can't remember her name.
We'll be talking a lot about her in a couple months. We're going to give it through March. We got to get through basketball, but just wanted to let you guys know that softball is going. And if you wanted to know how to watch them, it's on ESPN Plus. So you got to have that paid subscription to be able to watch them. Same with the baseball team coming up pretty short.
Yeah, baseball starts this week. A series against Hofstra. I was gonna say I'm trying to find
the bar. What?
Maybe.
Man, come on now.
I'll say I'm trying to find real quick.
Come on, wrap it up. Let's go. Hurry up. I got a halftime show to watch. I mean, I got a concert to watch.
You still got 10 minutes.
No, I do have to fix some food.
I can't find it off the top of my head, but we will give her a shout out once we get to that. But lots of big things coming up for the Vols. Lots of big things coming up for us, and a shout out to everyone watching tonight. I hope everyone has a great week, and let's go 4-0 this week in basketball.
That would be massive.
Yeah, we did not say who the Lady Vols play.
The next team.
Yep, trying to figure out who that next team is.
The next one.
So this week, 2 very winnable games, both of them at home, Auburn and Ole Miss. So
Let's go.
Yeah, Lady Vols got to go 2-0. Vols got to go 2-0. Anything else, Skylar?
Go Big Orange.
Yep. Go Big Orange.